Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 150. The album that I'll be reviewing tonight is Ice-T's fifth album, Home Invasion, released in 1993. You guys by now should know who he is. I did a review on his second album, Power, his third album, the Iceberg album, Freedom of Speech. Just Watch What You Say. I did a review on his fourth album, OG Original Gangster, and now I'm doing a review on this album, his fifth album. Originally, this album was supposed to come out back in 1992, but several delays, several setbacks had caused the album to be delayed, and for the album release to get pushed back. And one of it was the cover, because they Warner Brothers felt this was controversial, and because of that, that's what caused Ice-T to leave Warner Brothers. He left the record label because they were bitching about him, about this album cover. But before he did that, he was gonna call it the Black Album, you know what I mean, and have like the album just be like a black, just a black blank space, you know what I mean, and call it the Black Album, which is what Jay-Z got his name, the Black Album, from. And I'm not just trying to talk shit, but it's facts, you know what I mean. And I'll talk more into that when I'm doing the album as well. And but he didn't do that because I guess he felt like that was another way of Warner Bros. Censoring him, and he was all about like being unfiltered raw, and he wasn't about that. So he ended up leaving the record label and started doing his own thing. He went the independent route, but I think it was called it says it right here. Rhyme Syndicate Records. Alright, and Priority Records, bought the rights, whatever, kind of merged them into Priority Records, and then he ended up releasing this album, with the same cover, the original cover that it was supposed to come out with, and he put it out independently. And another setback too was because of the whole Cop Killer song from his Body Count album that he put out in '92 with his group and stuff like that. That caused a lot of controversy to the point where, like, I think they had reissued the first album, the first Body Count album, but they took off Cop Killer. So if you have the Cop Killer song on your joint, keep that because that's a collector's item. What else? 1992, Ice-T, he was featured in the movie Trespass with Ice Cube, Bill Paxton, and Williams. I forgot his name, forgot his real name, forgot his last name, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So it was so crazy because that whole Cop Killer shit, it was crazy because you had, as far as like the FBI calling Ice-T's house, like threatening to shut him down and all that crazy shit. So, but I gotta respect Ice-T because he tells it like it is, and he holds there's no holds barred when it comes to him, man, and I respect that. Unlike rappers today, they talk a lot of shit, and excuse me. Unlike rappers today that talk all this yeah, but they bark but no bite, that kind of thing. Ice-T, he told it like it is, and he never held back, and that's what I liked about him. Even to this day, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. There are a couple singles off this album. The singles are I Ain't New to This. I think Got a Lot of Love was a single as well. And I believe those were the singles off the album. Let me double check and make sure. Yeah, That's How I'm Living, Got a Lot of Love, and I Must Stand. Those are no, my bad. Yeah, That's How I'm Living, got a Lot of Love, and I Ain't New to This. Those are the three singles of the album. All right, so this is what the album looks like. You see, little white kid, listening to some hip hop. Pretty sure some Public Enemy, as you can see, like the Ice Cube tape right here, the Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? Got some, Malcolm X books, some Iceberg Slim, some other stuff. And that's what made it controversial, and then like just like the crazy drawing, pretty dope. You know what I mean? Open it up. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen this picture before, and that's where it came from. All right, open it up. All right, the Ice-T right here chilling. The album credits. These are the thank yous and the shout outs and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Pretty dope. Beware, Body Count. This is the second album that came out back in '94. That came out. I See Home Invasion, the album, which we're looking at, and this is the picture. Alright. Home Invasion, this is to see this what the actual sheet looks like. Alright. Oh, another thing too, the song Ricochet that was off the soundtrack was supposed to be on this album, but they made him take it out, and then he didn't end up like putting this on the album, which is kind of crazy, but because that's actually a dope song, but it is what it is. But yeah, alright, you know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the tracks. Alright, track 1 is The Warning. It's just an intro. It's just him, talking like just one of the people. If you're a fan of the song, like with words like nigga, fuck, bitch, cum, like all the bad words that you could think of, pop the tape out. This is not a pop album. And he says, just saying like, and pretty much, if you get offended, oh well, too bad. Don't listen to the record, and that's pretty much what he talks about. So at least he was nice enough to say that, you know what I mean? Even though it was a little bit vile, but it is what it is. I mean, I could care less because I'm all for like freedom of speech, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Track 2, It's On. It just talks about how Warner Brothers trying to change him, trying to change not change his image, but trying to like have him conform to their rules and stuff like that. He throws shots at Charlton Heston, who was the head honcho of NRA at the NRA at one point. And Charlton Heston, I mentioned him. He's done movies like Omega Man, the Planet of the Apes movies, the old school ones from the 60s and early 70s. Those shots at him, and he brags about being independent and making more money than ever, stuff like that. He just tells about that. That's what I got from the joint It's On. Track 3, Ice MFT, which stands for Ice Motherfucking T. He throws shots at President George Bush, George Bush Sr., Dan Quayle and Bill Clinton. Throw shots at them. Because obviously they talk about his music, but when you have the president talk about your music, that's powerful, especially around those times. You know what I mean? Because it seems like a lot of people do shit for shock value nowadays, but it's a trendy thing. But with Ice-T, he was trying to make a difference. That's the difference between artists back then and artists now. You know what I mean? But I just thought I had to throw that in there. Track 4, Home Invasion. Just talk about abducting America's kids. Just putting them onto dope music. None of this pop shit that was coming out at the time. Letting people that know that hip hop is a form of entertainment, but you could learn from it too. Because around that time, hip hop wasn't as it wasn't as it wasn't acceptable like it is now. Because back then, I don't want to throw race in it, but a lot of white suburban parents, even like some of the black, but mostly majority, a lot of the white suburban parents was opposed of hip hop. They thought that hip hop was just like a fad. It was just some racial. This is going by what they only see one. They only used to see, not all, but I was gonna say they only saw like one side of hip hop. They only see like the gangster shit, but you got some parts of hip hop. You got other parts of hip hop that's positive, dope rhymes, dope beats and stuff like that. But it is what it is. But now, 20 some odd years later, now people love hip hop. So this is funny how that shit works. Track 5, G Style, which stands for Gangster Style. It's just a gangster track. It just goes in on that joint right there. Track 6, Addicted to Danger. You know, he talks about, you know, a drug run that he has to do, you know, it's with his chick, whatever, and he has to deliver some money, but, you know, there's a little twist to it. Pretty dope song right there. Track 7 is just a skit, question and answer, you know, just sort of about how, you know, you know, how some hardcore MCs, you know, when they first come out, and now, what did he say? He said, like, what do you call when a hardcore MC, you know, comes out hardcore for the first time, but then he start making like commercial songs. He goes pop, and then a whole bunch of stuff, and then he goes into depth in that. It's kind of short, but you know, it is what it is. Track 8, Watch the Ice Break. He just responds back to the haters. You know, he's just talking about how he sold out because he has a rock group and stuff like that, but he's just saying like, I'm successful, I'm making all this money and you're not, and you know, he's just calling out whack MCs and shit like that. And that's what I got from the joint, Watch the Ice Break. Alright, then you got track 9, Race War. Pretty dope joint right there. He just talks about how minorities don't get treated fairly, even to this day. Even look what happened to this stupid ass Donald Trump. You know, it's talking about how, you know, Arabs shouldn't be coming in here temporarily just because of some of the terrorists over there have done. You're gonna mess it up. You're gonna coin them to them. You know, there's extremists everywhere. Not all Muslims are terrorists. You know what I mean? Even though Muslims is a religion, but you know what I'm trying to say. You know, just saying like all that stuff, but and then in the end he just talks about how everybody's black. The original man is the black man. You know, you know, and you know, yeah, he's right at some point about that, and I do agree with that. You know, but I know some of you guys might not agree, but you know, it's all good. You know, we all have, you know, different ways of thinking, but that's what makes us unique and different. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Track 10. That's How I'm Living. It, to me, how I see it is like more like a bio track. It's like a biography track, kind of reminiscent of OG Original Gangster. You know what I'm saying? Pretty chase. Sorry about that, guys. Get some juice. Yeah, like I was saying before, that's How I'm Living. It kind of reminds me of OG Original Gangster. It was kind of like a bio of how he came up, but I think That's How I'm Living is like more into like, when he, like, it talks about how he was born in New Jersey, how his mom died at an early age, and then how he moved to LA. When he first moved to LA, he didn't like it too much, and then, you know, he started getting introduced to some friends who were Crips, joined them, and then all that stuff. He talks about how he went to the army for once, and for I think it was for like 4 years, and he got a girl pregnant and all that stuff. So, you know, he goes into depth with that. It's pretty dope. Track 11, I Ain't New to This. You know, it's a braggadocio track right there. There's a video for that joint right there. Track 12, Pimp Behind the Wheels. DJ Evil E the Great. That's an Evil E solo track. He does rap. I didn't know he rapped, but it's just him rapping and stuff. Like, it's a braggadocio track, but like I said, I didn't know he rapped. That's pretty interesting. Track 13, Got a Lot of Love. It's pretty cool. You know, it talks about like the temporary truce that they had back in 1992 in Watts, when the Bloods and Crips and all the gangs had like a temporary truce, you know what I'm saying, because of the LA riots. Just saying like, yo, this is bullshit. You know, we gotta unify together. There is a video for that. You know, you just see like the Bloods and Crips together. It's a dope video right there, actually. It's like how he gets all the love from all the gangsters in LA and shit like that. Pretty cool. Track 14, Hits the Fan, which really means shit hits the fan. It talks about this girl that he actually falls in love with, meets and falls in love with, because, you know, he talks about any type of chick I meet, you know, in the fucking, I don't catch my feelings, but with this particular girl, he actually caught feelings to the point where like, you know, she's like doing commitments and shit like that. Like she's giving him like the keys to her beach house and all that type of shit. Like really crazy shit. Pretty dope. Alright, that's track 14. Alright, then you got track 15, Depths of Hell. It features Daddy Nitro, who's like a reggae artist, like a dancehall artist. That song was actually featured on the Trespass soundtrack. It's just a braggadocio track right there. Depths of Hell. Track 16, 99 Problems. He's not mentioned here, but it features Brother Marquise of Two Life Crew. Just talks about how you know, they just brag about how they have girls on any occasion. Like they have a girl with a knife. Like, you know, they have a girl for every type of occasion you can think of. They have a girl for them. So he's just saying like, I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one, which is where Jay-Z got that line from. But Jay-Z's version was a little bit different because, you know, he's sort of about actually like getting racially profiled, and this one, you know, Ice-T is talking about you know, he's actually talking about, you know, like, you know, bragging about how many girls, and Marquise as well talking about how many girls they could get and stuff like that. But Jay-Z's approach was a little bit different. Alright, so that's track 16. Track 17, Funky Gripster. That's featuring Gripster. Gripster, she's an MC from Oakland, California. You know, she's one of Ice-T's artists. You know, she got discovered by Ice-T, stuff like that. You know, it's just a soul track. You know, Ice-T's down in the song. I think he talks, but he just talks in the intro, and then like but she does a whole song and stuff like that. Gripster, you know, she done stuff for. She had her own single at one point. Pop Goes to Nine. Yeah, I think it's called. Let me see what it's called. Yeah, Pop Goes to Nine. She was in the movie Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer when she plays the high school student. I mean, not the high school teacher into the high school and stuff like that. She was in that movie as well. She's done stuff for like Promised Land, like TV shows from Promised Land, Touched by an Angel, you know, shows like that. She's done some stuff over the years. So, you know, she's doing some. At least she's somewhat successful. You know what I mean? Track 18, Message to the Soldier. That's a pretty deep track right there. You know, he talks about how us brothers, black men, you know, like how that want to make a difference. Like, you know, people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, even like President Obama. You know, you're gonna be a marked man. Like, they always gonna try to tear you down. You know, and that's the thing I got from that too. Even the people that, you know, even us brothers that want to go to the war, want to serve, you know, in the armed forces and stuff like that, you know, they want to tear you down. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not important to them, is what I'm trying to say. And it's kind of deep right there. You know what I'm saying? You're just a pawn when you join the army and, you know, places, things like that want to make a difference. Like, the white man don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? That was his. I'm not saying that's how, you know, how I feel, but I'm just saying how, you know, the message in that song. That's what I got from that joint right there. And in some parts, it's definitely true, because look at President Obama. Like, you know, anything he says or does, people try to throw shots at him. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to admit the man did what he can. You know, it's like, you know, I think he did the best he could. I mean, look at gas prices right now, how low they are. I mean, it depends on what part of the country you are. I mean, right now, here in Florida, at least where I stay, I seen it for like $190. So I'm loving that shit. But, you know, you got people that'll complain about that. You know, say, well, it's actually not good. But I don't give a fuck about those people. As long as I could put $20 in my gas and could fill up most of my car, I'm good with that. So I know you guys would be too. And track 19, the last song, is just an outro with a freestyle. You know, he's just just freestyling, no beat and nothing like that. Kind of a good way to set the album off, like to set the way the end of the album and stuff like that was actually pretty good. Overall, another dope album in my opinion. Very aggressive. I think this is like his most aggressive album besides OG Original Gangster, but I think this is a lot more aggressive than that album. The beats are a lot more aggressive. It kind of reminds me of like you know, Tupac's Strictly for My Niggas, you know what I mean? It seemed like 1993 was an aggressive year because, you know, 14 Shots to the Dome was very aggressive for LL Cool J. Strictly for My Niggas, Tupac's most aggressive album. This album, I mean, countless others, man. Very dope. I love the beats on this, the production. It doesn't have it definitely has like a more East Coast, just like OG Original Games. It definitely has like a more East Coast sound to it. Same thing with this. But yeah, very, very dope album. I believe this album was reissued back, I want to say like about 5 years ago, around 2011, I want to say. But yeah, if you could find this album, I highly recommend you checking this album out, man. But yeah, Home Invasion by Ice-T, released in 1993, highly recommended. They have a got my man Homo on the side right here putting it in, nigga. Yeah, so I believe they have another version of this, but it's actually out of print. It's a double disc album, and it's called I think it was called The Last Temptation of Ice, where it's like it's more like an EP, where it's just you know, leftover tracks off the album, like songs like, you know, Ricochet that didn't make the album, you know, like some remixes and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, so, but I know that's a collector's item. It's kind of hard to find, it's out of print. So, but yeah, that's it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed that review. Stay tuned for more. Peace.